Hello. Today we're going to talk about the topic, how important are routines? And it's a very important topic, more for her than it is for me. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see about that.
Okay.
Because it's like I have less routines than definitely you have. So maybe
less discipline, but it's another point.
Well, that's another point. Yeah, let's leave it like that. But what are the routines you have? Maybe you want to share some of your routines that help you to organize everything.
Well, basically one of the routines I always following is to structure my week 7 days up front. This is one routine I always follow. And then that I have a plan for everybody, every member in the family, what they have to do, that we get organized through the week. Because when you have a lot of things on your plate, okay, then there is no room for, let's see when we can do that during the day, because then the day is over and you had no time because you don't feel like this and all the things like that. This is another topic, like what you get, like how you're getting things done if you don't feel like it. And to be honest, most of the time I don't feel like it getting up early, and most of the time I don't feel like it, like even if it's like cleaning the kitchen or cooking or whatever. It's not that I always feel like it and that it makes a lot of fun. And this is where discipline and routines are coming in. And especially when you do the work, okay? Like there's a lot of, doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur or employee, like you have things on your plate you don't like to do, like be honest, okay? That is not like that everything is totally amazing, what we are doing the whole day. Sometimes you have to do things, and for the most of us, it's taxes, which is not the highest priority on our fun list, okay? So let's
like get this. The list. No.
And if it's even on there, I don't know. Maybe not. But for this is it's really important that you have the discipline and the routine into that, because you don't have to think about the things. And it's really easy if you have a morning routine, knowing every step, what you are doing, every time you're doing. And I have it in my calendar, actually, every task in the morning. And it does not mean that, you know, it has to be like really on time on that, like on and perfectly that minute, but it gives me a timeline and like a plan. I don't want to use the word routine again. So a plan, what I have to do next and about what time I have to start it, that I get it done. It's really important that you know how long you need for something. And especially when you want to do some sports in the morning, or, you know, if you have to like prepare the breakfast or the snack box, like in our case for our child, then you have to know like how long you need basically about that. And for us in the morning, for example, it's really important to have some time for the breakfast, because the family is together before we go. Yeah. We collect and we talk about the day and what we are planning, and like make the last detailed plannings for the day, that everybody knows what they have to do. And then we go ahead, and I feel really, and before I give it to you then, I feel really the difference, especially when you have children. And our son, he needs the routines as well. He always wants to know what's next, like at what time when we do this, and after that, what we are going to do then, and all the things like that. And if we have Sundays or Saturdays or like days when we did not had a plan, and especially like, we all know that in Corona times, when the kids were isolated and we are at home, and you did not have a clear structure for the day, it's going to be a mess, because then you say, well, we can do that later, or like, let's see how it works. And of course, you have to get a feeling of this biorhythm of everybody. Yeah. And then based on this biorhythm, we build our routine. So there are 1, 2, 3 days which you have to really observe a little bit. But then you have to make a plan after it, without, when you want to stop thinking what you do next and just to get the things done.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, the routines definitely help to stop thinking about like the small stuff, yeah, and to make decisions about like small things. Like one of the routines. Well, the decision is another topic, but one of the routines I have, and I'm usually never deviating from, is my polo shirts. It's like you might have recognized that in all of the videos, it's a similar one, or sometimes it looks like the same one. But I have multiple ones of them because I don't want to think about that in the morning. Okay, so I just like put on a polo shirt and I take it from top to bottom. And that's it. Sometimes I maybe think, okay, maybe today I wear a white one versus a green one, but that's all. And it sounds so so simple, but very often, and I know especially for women, it's very different because it's like, okay, how does this match with this and blah blah blah. So, but I know men that do the same stuff. A business partner of mine is like always dressed very fashionable, and like then there's me next to it. So, but it's like it's okay. It's a different personality. I love this this routine in terms of what is called like time boxing. Not invented by me, somebody else came up with that idea, where you basically you box time in your calendar, where you say, I'm going to work on this or on that, especially when you have like we have like multiple businesses that are sometimes very different from each other in terms of the actions you do and you have to do. It helps if you set bigger time blocks for a business, because you might need 4 hours because you want to get into the business, thinking about what is going on in that, and then adjusting, like and then you are, after like maybe 15 minutes, you are totally in the topic, and then you keep on working. If you then switch to different businesses all the time, every half an hour, it's difficult because the marketing is different, the activities are different, the market is different, the client is different, everything's different for some of them. So that makes a lot of sense. The other thing I try to follow, I'm not 100% on it, and that's something I definitely am working on, is what's called a GTD, getting things done. There are books out there and seminars and courses and audiobooks. So whatever you want to learn about it, feel free. It's easy to find. I think David Allen is the guy that invented it, and it's basically how do you structure your to-dos in terms of can I do them at home, can I do them at the computer. So it's, for me, there is more the routine of collecting every thought in a list. Okay, that is a routine I'm 90% diligent on. Okay, because everything that like, and it's like I sometimes get a WhatsApp, can you please do this? And I mean, it's like between us, there's also WhatsApp communication because we'll not always have the time to talk to each other. And if I don't take the point in that moment in the list, it's gone. Because I might read the WhatsApp and it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that later, or maybe I'm going to do that tomorrow because tomorrow is the time slot to do this type of activity. And then somebody calls, or I go back to the original thought, and then it's gone. I don't come back to the WhatsApp. I don't realize that, oh shit, I should have, sorry for that, I should have put that in the list. So it's like, for me, this is one of the most important routines for myself, is capturing everything. We use Asana for our company, so my to-do list is obviously in Asana, but also there, because I'm working with a partner in the UK on a total different business. We use Asana there as well, and sometimes it's a bad thing and sometimes it's a good thing that the Asana accounts, they are not in one account. So I have 2 Asana accounts, which makes it sometimes difficult, because if I look in the morning at the to-do list, I need to look at 2 lists. But on the other hand, if I'm set the time, and today is not the time for this type of business, I can simply close the whole list and I'm not bothered with it. So that makes it simple in that term. So there are ups and downs, but this is like one of the routines I'm really pushing for, because it helps me personally. Maybe it helps you as well. And it's actually a routine that is more or less easy to put in place. If you always work on your desk, you can simply put a basket or a tray next to you. You have like post-it notes or like those loose paper notes. And every time you think about something, oh, I should be doing this, you write it down and you throw it in. And that can be the system if you are always there. Since I'm not always at the desk and like working in different countries, that would not work for me, because I would not I can't take a box with me all the time and write all those notes. So I am using my phone.
Yeah, this is like I'm using more the calendar function, and everything what's in my calendar, I know what I have to do. And the time boxing system is part of the calendar. Okay, so when I have I set up blocks for different tasks, and then I focus in this time only on this task. And this is really helpful for me. And then I can structure as well. I can make sure that I have enough space, because I have a lot of calls as well from the outside. So this is one routine I really implemented, and which is really amazing for all of you who are really often on the phone and want to structure your day. Like, use things like Calendly or another system where people can book a call with you, and stop getting on the phone when somebody is randomly calling you. Okay, so if it's not your time to be on the phone right now, then it's not the time to be on the phone right now. Okay, and it's like, this is it's so, it seems so so simple, but it's not really simple. If the phone is ringing and you are focusing on something, for example, writing a post, writing an article or whatever, or you make some content for your clients, this is really like, you don't want to get disturbed. So this is the first thing I learned, even when I was self-employed, how I can make this stop that people call me when I'm focused on something. I was a real estate appraiser. So, you know, when you're in the middle of something like calculating or researching of a property and all the things like that, and then you have in between somebody is calling you and wants to place an offer. And then it's like, you are in the middle of something, writing in a report, and then you have a sales call. Like, great, like this is a totally different thing. So this is the first thing we changed with the system. And there is not always the possibility that you have like this automatically system like Calendly, or everything is IT based. Sometimes you need an office who's taking the calls for you and sending you an email. This is what I did when I was self-employed. That I know, okay, which direction it goes, that I can be prepared for the sales call. So this is really important. And if you know at what time you work the best way, you can say as well, okay, this time is open that people can book calls with me, okay? And then it's open for them. And I make daily blocks as well. I make like in between the days, I have blocks as well. And this is something which is always changing. So because like with all the new projects, with new partners, they have not always time in your time slot. So they're constantly working on the best way you can make the peak, you can reach the peak performance for you. When you have like, and you have to change it like when they are from the outside, when there are changes there. So this is really important for you to know. That it's not, and this is like a lot of clients of mine have this problem, like how I structure my day and how I make sure that I can get everything under one umbrella. And this is really important to know. That's not like you do it once and it's the rest for your life. That would be great. So I'm really constantly working on that, and every week I'm planning my week around the appointments I have, and have enough buffer time when you have a team as well, to give feedback to your team, to check regularly what they are doing. True. It's another topic, and we will, and we covered this already, I guess, in English. So then you will have, then you see, okay, what is like how you work with a remote team. You need this time, and you need this time blocked, and then you know how much time you have left for a new type of thing. Okay, like if you have, for example, how much time do we have? Like, you were always looking like we are over time already?
No, we're not. Not yet.
And this is a really good tip actually for because I had last week I had a call with a client, and it was about like how I structure my day. Like if you have a full-time job and want to do a side hustle, okay, and let's say you have 10 hours per week. If you use this 10 hours only for doing online courses, going to seminars, or like reading and stuff like that, when you have the time to implement all the stuff you're learning. So this is really a huge game changer when you start planning time for implementing things as well. And implementing is way more important than getting new ideas. And you will always, like if you're on a journey and you develop yourself with the personality and all the things like that, and you grow, you will see and you will know all the things you really don't know and you don't understand. You will have more gaps, you figure out more gaps that you have to close and all the things you have to know. And we could be in seminars all day long. But the focus really on this time that you have time to implement the things you learned already. And this is, I just want to share this with you because this is a really important, was a really important learning as well from last week. Even though you heard it already, it's never too late, you can hear that.
Yeah, no, you have to make time in your routines in order to implement that. And it's like, if you basically, the routine would go as like, I go to a seminar, 2 days, 3 days, 4 hours online, whatever it is. And then I block time the next day in order to implement that, right? And
to make a plan for it.
Or to make a plan on how to implement it. It's like you can block that even before you go to the seminar, and you should. And it's like, for example, when you work in sales and you do a lot of calls, you should block time after every call. It should be part of the routine to recap the call, to make the notes. I know a lot of salespeople, and they really hate making those notes because they think it's all in their head. But after you talk to 5-6 clients, it's like really hard then to understand, like if you don't take the notes, what client said what. And especially then putting that into a CRM system, which is a good thing, so that the next time when you talk to the client, you know what you talked about the last time. And those routines, they are really, really important. And the other thing before we close this one, because you said with those interruptions, and it's actually also something I'm working on in one of the businesses that we acquired, because there the team is constantly interrupting each other. And they don't realize the damage they are doing to each other with that, because it's like it seems rude. It's a small team. The office team has only 3, and then you have a couple of guys on the shop floor, and if they have a question, they basically go into the office and ask that question. But that person is in the middle of a quote, so that means like trying to understand all of those things. And that means that it's 20 minutes is usually the time that it takes somebody, when you interrupt the person, to get the mind switched back. Where were I? What was I doing? Why did I do it? So depending also on the length of the interruption, of course, but it just shows that if you have less interruptions, you can get things done. If you have half an hour focus time and then say, okay, now I'm having time for X, Y, Z, you get more done in that half an hour than when you are constantly interrupted. And it's just like to keep that in mind, that like even a 1 minute interruption can actually cost you like 15 minutes easily. And if somebody asks the question, is like, do you have a minute? It usually means like 5 to 10 minutes discussion. So it's like, it's pointless.
That's true. Yeah, really good point. And thank you for sharing this. And one last thing, what when you said with the salespeople, it's not like the salespeople, usually they have it in mind. That's not a problem, but you have a team and maybe you want to give away some task as well. And the team does not know what you're talking about with this person. So be really carefully and really detailed when you write down the things that you can hand over some of your tasks, and that you are not changing time for money.
Exactly. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.